Hey everybody, how you guys doing? So for today's video, I'm going to do something I've honestly never done before, which is a follow-up to one of my Ramble videos. So last week I uploaded a Rambles video that is my biggest issue with Elsword, which was essentially, my biggest issue was that we don't have many healers. Well, specifically, we have a couple of supports. We don't have many healers, and we don't have many tanks, which are the super armor users in Elsword, and I think that's a legitimate problem in the game, because it forces people to use certain characters, like very small pool of certain characters, and there's just not enough of these crucial roles. And you guys liked this video more than I initially thought, and there are quite a lot of comments here just talking about the video, so I thought I would just kind of do a follow-up and just talk about all the... Originally I wanted to just respond to all these comments, like with my own comments, but people kept commenting, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make a full-fledged video about this, and just kind of like talking about it. So yeah, let's just go into it. So this first idea is Rune Master gets a healing rune that hits players and recovers HP and MP. Rena gets some spores similar to Altair SD that when killed by players recovers HP and MP. Furious Blade gets Bloody XL, which can AoE, raise HP stat, and Giga Drive boost MP. Rage Hearts gets some Wrath passive where he gains an arm skill, people around him gain Rage Armor, Super Armor, and Awakening Charge increase. Empire Sword uses her flag to raise morale, something to supply ASD and Super Armor. Dominator uses his drones to make virtual simulation to apply ASD in all speeds. Lucille gets a party-based skill, mod Darkness Cutter, mod Soul Entrapment, mod Nightmare, which can apply adaptation. Minerva uses Potion Grenades similar to Velder SDs to apply buffs. Optimus uses Rose to get a Nurse Robot that focuses on applying random buffs to every single player. And Hersher gets a party adaptation bonus because he... Okay. Some of these have interesting wording. But I like the concepts here. I think the concepts here are really, really cool. Rune Master getting a healing rune, that's interesting, but I think what would be better is if they just made a mod rune field. I think that'd be really cool, because then you have like the offensive like rune field, which is the one we already have, and then you have a support rune field, which is just like, you know, it's just like normal healing, and it can have healing procs like Block Bloom or Sun Shower, you know, very simple. I would say they would make the range like wider. Maybe it won't be as tall as Runefield is now, but they just make it wider, and then it obviously just applies healing. I think that'd be really cool. I'm not sure which Rena he's talking about here. Maybe Twilight, but I don't know, the suggestion's kind of weird to have spores like the Altair SD boss. Like, you had to kill spores to get HP and MP. Like, how would that work? That just sounds kind of weird. Like, wouldn't everybody just be hitting them? Like, because everybody's using their skills and stuff? I don't know. I don't know. That sounds weird to me. I think I like the idea better, where it's, Anemos using her, Arolina. But, I mean, Twilight could do something. She has a lot of skills, which is like, a bunch of smoke, like, Trapping Arrow. That could make Trapping Arrow a healing thing. Furious Blade's Bloody XL can give AoE, raise HP stat, and Giga Drive gives MP boost. That could be interesting. I was suggesting something similar before, where with Furious Blade he just applies a buff to everybody, where everybody's special actives can do like essentially healing to them, and then I don't know, Giga Drive doing something with healing. I think this one's tougher to do with FB because he's very clearly just like a 1v1, just kind of offensive class, so giving him support role is kind of weird, and I even admit that too. Like, even though I was trying to think of something like a healing role for him, it'd be kind of weird, but I think this is interesting, and maybe they could do something with this. But yeah, interesting concept. Rage Charge giving Super Armor and Awakening Charge is pretty cool. Yeah, the thing is, like, how do you do it, right? Like, if we're going down the route of like give everybody like a mod skill which can be used as a support skill, I think that's a good route to go down. Like, just based on what we have now. I mean, I'm trying to think. Maybe like the closest thing I can think, right, is like Power Bomb, right? And instead of normal Power Bomb, where it's an explosion and there you go, Rage Charge does Power Bomb, and then the range that Power Bomb would be is just now a, like, essentially, let's say, a tactical field range. Maybe it's a bit uninspired and lazy, but I think it's, in a way, good to be like that, because then it's just like, okay, they can simply, like, just have what they already have and then give it to other characters. I think, you know, there's no reason to make it overly... It would be cool to make it overly complicated and like have everybody's like support skills kind of unique and different, but I think it's better to just have them than spend so much time making them unique and different. So, you know, Power Bomb, but it's like tactical field, you know what I mean? I think that'd be cool. Empire Sword raises her flag to raise from more that applies ASD and Super Armor. Yeah, she already has a skill that does that. I forget what it's called, where she essentially yells and then everybody gets ASD. You know, let me look at that. Hold on. I'm using my AFK stream, presume. Also, sorry if like there's no like script or anything. I'm just kind of like going off the cuff and talking. So okay, here we are in Wiki. So let's go to Empire Sword. I think Grandmaster has it. Yeah, here it is. So War Prelude. War Prelude is really good. It gives everybody ASD. I'm not sure if you use them. Oh dang, it already has a mod. Dang it, it already has a mod, and I think the mod might be better. But maybe in the same vein, she can do something similar to this, where maybe you can do it on another skill. I'm not sure which skill you would use, but essentially, she would do the shout, and then in the shout, it's kind of like it gives people super armor and the ASD. I'm not sure which one gives ASD. Yeah, special active skill damage increase, but it's a normal one. Sorry, I'm like getting a little bit distracted here. Yeah, special active increase, and then the other one was just like, yeah, special active increase and then max MP decrease. It's interesting, but yeah, I think this would be cool. Maybe change one of them. I don't know if people use both. Or maybe change the one that's more unused, because I know normally you would just use this to boost ASD of everybody, and it's a really good skill, but maybe they could change it to be more support oriented, give super armor instead, or give super armor and ASD still, or maybe something along the lines of that, but I think this is a good route to take with giving Empire Sword super armor. Dominator doing something, yeah, I think Dominator is another one where like you can just do something. They suggested ASD in all speeds. Like sure, why not? But Dominator can honestly do anything because I think his drones just give the versatility of him of like just doing anything. Just almost any of his drones can like potentially apply super armor, apply healing. I think it could be fine. One of the cool things he put here is like an ASD buff. An adaptation buff. It'd be cool. He suggested a couple mods here. I'm not sure of all those mods. I know what Soul Entrapment is, but that'd be cool. That'd be cool, and of course it makes sense for Lucio. At the same time, though, it'd be weird because most people just can stat enough adaptation for it. So it'd be weird. But I think it is cool. I don't think it'd be higher than like 3%. I think at the most these would just be 3%, but no, adaptation's cool. The Minerva thing is really cool as well. Potion grenades, I think, very straightforward. It would have to be a fresh skill, a fresh new skill, or they could have a mod for a different skill. I'm not sure if all of her grenades have mods. I know some of them have mods, like it's called burst grenade or flame grenade. The fire grenade. I know that one has a mod. It would either be a mod or a completely new skill, like a potion grenade. I think that'd be cool. You know, just straight up just healing potions and you throw them at people and then they explode into like a little explosion, or yeah, and then inside the explosion it would just be like healing and things like that. It'd be kind of cool if you ever played Overwatch. The character Anna is very similar, has a healing grenade. Prime Operator having a healing robot. Yeah, it's the same thing like Dominator. Just summon something that can heal. I think that'd be cool. And then Hersher having adaptation bonus. I mean, a bonus or just giving it to the party, I think that'd be cool. But that idea obviously was not as fleshed out. Okay, this guy says, I mean, with the MP system, everybody can be a healer 1 HP per second to the party, 5 MP regen for the party plus synergy. That's honestly impractical because imprinting is a 5-second duration with a 20-second cooldown, and there's no healer that heals for only 5 seconds and then can't heal again for 20 more seconds. That's not a true healer, unfortunately. A true healer and a true super armor user can constantly keep up their healing and can constantly keep up their super armor, and that's essentially what we're aiming for here. I use Anemoth as a healer in raids. Arlena, Perfect Storm, and Light Orbs. That can work, but it's not a full-on healer. No one's gonna make a raid, or almost no one. So, but I did. It's like, okay, one person out of like 100. It's like nobody is going to practically like look at Anemos and be like, okay, Anemos, that's the healer. Like, no, they're taking Radiant Soul and they're taking what is it, Blue Hen? Because not only do you need HP healing, you need HP and MP healing constantly. Like, unfortunately, while you may do it and this strat may be good for you, at the end of the day, it won't cut it. It just won't cut it. It's not a healer. Alright, so let's go into this comment, which is, I feel like the healing aspect is difficult to balance in Elsword. In Raid, for example, it's not about you out-healing the boss, it's about dodging patterns with iframes of movement. Newest Raid is more about movement than Rosso's. Is that true necessarily? It was more about movement? I feel like it's the same. It's not like more, it's just like different types of movement. If you get hit when really the stable FPS, you shouldn't get hit by most things. You have 6 plus 2 potion slots, and honestly, I feel like that would be enough. The only reason I ever see a need for healers is for classes who have a huge MP issues. Potions don't really help them enough, and for bosses who have very difficult to dodge regular attacks, meaning that you will get hit often by even if they're just basic attacks. 561's Ice Spikes are a nice example. They're not easy to dodge, and if you're trying to attack, he throws them out often, but they aren't exactly a special attack at birth either. That'd be the Ice Beam, which is target rapid enough to dodge properly and thus not take damage. I suppose I'd much rather have them design boss patterns that would reward than making dodging usually reasonable possible, without losing a lot of huge DPS potential, rather than making class every form of healer, because if they did that, then this healing wouldn't be expected of new players, parties, and future bosses would be even more difficult and require loads more than just tank mentality. The idea of plopping down a Blot Bloom or reducing one character to a heal save nothing more, so just everyone can also as well on the boss, is not really exciting. Either you have to gear to the tank until you get your heal, or you don't and that's it. Before BL we didn't have a healer unless you count ANWS, and dungeons were made in such a way this was no issue at all. That's just kind of incorrect. And as long as you knew what to do and how to dodge, you were absolutely fine. I hope healers stay limited in numbers because of that, and I don't really want to be any more of the must-have than they already are and turn the game into a tank simulator. Okay, so I agree with certain parts, but I think you're missing the point that I'm making here. I 100% agree that the just tank it mentality is bad, but I think you're missing the point, which is essentially, healer is already a crucial role in the game. There isn't, like, you can't go back on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, healer is just something important in raid that you just need. It is part of the game right now. You just need it. Everybody wants it. So the point that I was trying to make is just spread that more to more people, so more people can use it, and more people, you just have a better you just have more options than just Blue Hand and Radiant Soul. That is the point I'm making. And then he talked about that that dungeons were made in such a way that you didn't need a healer. Not really. Honestly, not really. I don't know if you remember, but it was more the sense that, like, so let's see. The old meta was SDs, and then it was bouncing between SDs and Hanair. And it wasn't that we didn't need healers, it was that the fights didn't require a healer because the fights weren't that difficult, you know? Very early SD was very difficult, and if we had a healer for that, people would have definitely taken it. We just didn't have it. It wasn't balanced around the fact that we didn't have a healer, or that we didn't need one. It was just that, like, we just didn't have one. Like Wally's back in the day when he was just, like, going crazy and spamming a bunch of, like, orbs and bombs everywhere. Like, if we had a healer that could take a healer, everybody would have taken a healer there. We just didn't have one, you know? It wasn't balanced around that fact or allowed you to do that. We just had to deal with the fact that we didn't have a healer. We just had to deal with that fact. And Hanair really did. It was just kind of like if you completed it or not, and then you just got the materials and made the stuff. And then after that, the meta was heroics, and then heroics was just like you just do your dailies and hope you get good RNG to get the stuff you need. And then Percocet, if you died in Percocet, it didn't really matter. It was just a damage contest. You didn't complete it. But if you died in, like, Rosso 100%, that's just like you just didn't complete Rosso. So that's why we need healers, because of course it could just be like, oh yeah, just dodge all the attacks. It's just like, okay, sure, you can dodge all the attacks, but sometimes some people aren't geared enough, so it's like, okay, now there's like an even higher gear lock, because you can't have just like healers helping you out. It's like, okay, you have 6 potions. It's just like, okay, that's true, you have 6 potions, but they all have 30-second cooldowns, and, you know, especially if you're doing DPS, like, you're using all those potions as a good DPS with good cooldowns. You're using all your potions, and you still need some more healing after that. You know, that's why healers come in. That's it. You know, healers are in need in this game as of this point because it's team synergy. You're not relying on them to help you tank out. That's just, you know, that's just synergy. That's just how it works. DPS using their skills, and they need MP for their skills. You know, supports who are not as geared trying to help out the DPS, so everybody doesn't have to be super geared as the DPS. They need those healers to help them out, because without that, then there's just an even bigger gear lock, because then you don't have the healers to kind of help out the weaker team. That's really what it is. I guess that's why you need healers, just to help out the people who are not as geared as the main DPS, or the main 2 or 3 DPS are. I think it provides a really good space for the game, especially with Rosso Raid. that you can take kind of like your weaker ults or weaker people with you who have these very key DPS, key support roles like healer and tank, things that don't need to be as geared but can still provide great benefits to the party as much as a DPS can. Improvement on raid is similar vein-ish. This is more kind of like everybody's at the same gear level, but you do have people with like lesser gear that can still provide great benefits to the party, and don't need to be as geared out, but they still provide great benefits to the party. So that's why we need a healer. Like, what can I say past that? It's just, we can't just get rid of the healer role. You know, I get what you're saying, or it's just like it would be great if like everybody can just kind of dodge the boss and then just kind of like you just kind of work on that. Everybody's just working on the reflexes and things like that. But I guess that's like you said, like practicality making a boss like that would just be kind of weird and difficult. I guess the best example would be like Master Road. Master Road is kind of like that. Essentially, where like you don't really need a healer and you don't really need anything for that. You can just kind of do Master Road, and then once you dodge all the attacks, and especially the super attack, everybody can just take the advantage and just kind of kill the boss. So Master Road would probably be the best example, I would say, of the example that he is posting, where essentially you just dodge the attacks and then just take benefit off of that. But with Varnamir raids, with raids in particular, it's just a huge focus on teamwork and working together. So you need all these different like help from all these other people. You need the DPS, you need the tank, you need the healer, you need the supports. You know, it's all coming together, and it's just like everybody's working together to beat this boss. I think that is a very good gameplay thing, and I don't think it is something they need to get rid of or they need to change. And that's why I think that we need more healers, so more healers and more tanks, so that we can cover these like more wanted roles just like more frequently. That's all. Yeah, alright, cool. This video went on honestly longer than I thought. I just mostly talked about 2 big comments, and there's still more. So I think I'll be coming back to this, honestly, because there's still more great comments here, and I really went over 2 of them. I think I went over 4. Yeah, I went over 4 comments, but there are quite a few more here. Let me switch to it real quick. But yeah, there are quite a few more here, and I only talked about 2, and it still took a good chunk of time. So I think I'll follow it up on this one next week. I think this is a great topic to talk about, and honestly, that's what it is at the end of the day. If you know, I think this is an issue in the game that I need to fix, and if you guys think so as well, we just keep talking about it. We just keep talking about it. We just keep bringing mention to it, and you know, the more buzz we make about it, the more things we say about it, they'll either, if anything, they'll just know. They'll just know what we're thinking about it, and we know that at least I think it's a problem, and it seems like a lot of you think it's a problem as well, because I do think there needs to be a lot more supports and a lot more tanks in the game, because it's such a crucial role in raid. And I think at the end of the day, raid is some amazing content, and if they just make it better for everybody who plays the game, that'd just be so much better. Yeah, but that's it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for leaving your comments. At the end of the day, even if I respond to your comment in a negative way or don't necessarily agree with everything you're saying, I'm not putting hate against you. This is just my opinion. These are just the things I think. You don't have to necessarily agree with me. My word is not the word of God or anything like that. You know, this is just my thoughts as a player. All I am is just a player who just happens to make videos. So if you don't agree with me, if you think I'm stupid, you know, that's completely fine. That's your opinion, and I'm just sharing my opinion. But that's it for me, guys. See you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, all that cool stuff, and peace out.